Hi, everybody. This is so exciting. We are here for the long awaited ranking of the 2024 romances. I think that this is my last ranking end of the year video of 2024. I guess I was still going to do Did the Right One Win for the animated Oscars. So maybe that would be the last one. But anyway, my last major video on 2024. But it took me a long time because it's 50 movies. It takes a while to watch 50 movies. And I thought it would be fun for this ranking to have a friend on just to banter about these movies. And Terry was available and kind enough to agree. And Terry, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Rachel.
And I know you won't have seen all of these, but I figured you could almost be like, you could sort of preview. Does it sound interesting to you? And if you have seen it, you could talk about it. And it would just be more fun to have another person on. And we have the chat room open on YouTube. So if you want to share, if you're watching, if you want to share what you thought, I know I have a couple controversial placings on this list. And there's the super chat also available if you want to ask a question or just want to support the channel. That's also available and would be so appreciated. So let's dive in. Let's do this. So number 50 is Beautiful Wedding. That is the worst romance that I saw. Oh, and I should say that I didn't include just like last year, I didn't include what I consider like toxic relationships. And like It Ends With Us is not on this. It I have some that are borderline that I was like, but I don't know. You have to draw the line somewhere. And also, like, if it was like, for instance, I don't have The Brutalist on here, which technically has a marriage portrayed. I don't have something like that. Like when it's not a romance. So anyway, fifth. That's the qualification. The Beautiful Wedding. This was a sequel to the first Beautiful movie. I forget what it was called. Beautiful. And it was absolutely terrible. Both of these movies, they try to do the like raunchy romance kind of thing, make it vulgar, make it really R-rated. And I on a good day, I'm a tough sell on a wedding movie. And so
Oh, I know.
yeah. And this was it was painful. I mean, it was so bad. The comedy was just really gross and vulgar and just not pleasant. This was bad. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of this, that it's notorious. I especially heard about the first movie. I wasn't sure. I thought this was a trilogy or something. But when I
Oh
remember when I
gosh.
had Hulu last year for a little while, I would always skip it. They would try to recommend it, and I would be like, nope, no. It just never, just like the trailer and stuff, just never appealed to me. But I've heard like notorious things from people I know who've seen it. They're like, please don't, don't
Yeah.
waste your time. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel bad because people made this movie, but it's not for me. Not
Yeah,
for me.
it's just a personal opinion. If
Yeah.
if y'all liked it, then more power to you. I'm looking on Letterboxd, Zach Pope, possibly one of the worst things I've ever watched.
That's about
I've read
right.
Austin Burke, that I genuinely had no idea this was a sequel until the title sequence hit. Could I have turned it off at that moment? Absolutely, but I consider myself a trooper. Why back down now? Let's keep going. I mean, in no chemistry, this is just. I think when that kind of raunchy comedy falls flat, it really is rough. You know,
That is true. That is
because
true.
like a bad sweet movie, because of just who I am as a human, I'm gonna enjoy more than a bad not sweet movie. Okay, so next, this might be for the indie crowd, this might be a little controversial. My next one, 49, it's called Between the Temples. This was a movie that I saw at Sundance, and it's a real shame because it had some potential going into it. I mean, it's about this I guess they would say like May December romance. It's Jason Schwartzman and Carol Kane. Jason Schwartzman is like he's a very awkward, uncomfortable forget the he's like the teacher at a synagogue. And Carol Kane comes, she wants to have her bar mitzvah, and so they start spending more time together, and develops this crush on her. All that I'm fine with. Like, that could be great. Carol Kane, legend, of course. The problem was that this director, Nathan Silver, made so many terrible choices that really made this movie unwatchable for me. He, for whatever reason, decided to do very weird things with the sound design. And so, like, you heard everything any character was eating, loud,
No.
chewing, loud sighing, loud. Everything was like, it was just so gross. I almost just walked out at Sundance because it was so unpleasant to watch. It was gross. The way everybody was filmed was really like unflattering and just gross. And I just really disliked it. It was not for me. It certainly wasn't funny enough to overcome just what I just thought were really off-putting choices from the director. So,
So you haven't seen it since Sundance?
No, I have not seen it since
Because
Sundance.
I do think it's on Netflix now, and I remember looking at the trailer and thinking it was interesting.
Yeah.
I am familiar with this because I saw the trailer, but maybe they fixed some of that stuff before I went streaming, but who knows?
There are some people on Letterboxd who are enjoying it, that they like it because, like, the core story and the performances aren't bad. It's just I really disliked. So it's just a question of, can you get over, or do you like these directing choices? Like my friend Louisa, she says, from a lackluster screenplay to borderline incompetent directing,
Ooh.
this is a complete fiasco. Harrison Rosman, he says, I found this insufferable, extremely loud sound design and jokes that almost never landed for me. Yeah, the sound design was so bad. It was, I mean, I guess they were going for something, so there's that, but
I don't need it to be that realistic, when I'm watching a movie.
Yeah. My friend, mainly movies, she says Between the Temples has an intriguing enough premise and some occasionally humorous moments, but the story is stretched out far too long. That's true. It's like 30 minutes too long. This might have been something that could have looked, but the cinematography and editing made this especially difficult to sit through. So that's the question of, like, can you handle this very, very strange, choice? And that's to have directors and filmmakers who are trying things, and so you give it that, but like sometimes it works and sometimes it really doesn't. So 48, and this, I guess I could have considered this a toxic relationship. I don't know. I have Back to Black in 48. So this is the Amy Winehouse film bio, and it's really more about her marriage than it is about her. Like, that's the focus of this movie. And the lead, Marissa Abella, she's not bad, but I don't think they could get some of the rights to the songs, and so it's a little weird.
I don't think so. I think we recorded everything.
Yeah, and I just felt like I learned so little about Amy Winehouse as a musician, about her process, what inspired her to write the songs the way she did. Like, we know that she was a rehab social, like we know some of the behind the scenes, but not like, how did you create this melody? Like, how did you, like, I just felt like I learned so little. If you compare this to A Complete Unknown, it's like night and day, of like what we learned about Bob Dylan. I mean, that movie had its cliches and things, but like, I just felt like I learned about him as a musician. and what he was trying to do and his process, and all much more than with this. It was all about this relationship and this marriage. And so if you're not super invested in how her marriage turned out,
I mean, I do wonder if her family was okay or a part of this.
yeah,
It
it
was
does
like,
feel kind of scrubbed clean. It feels like that they had a final edit of some kind. It feels that way.
I mean, because I would rather see a raw, no hold down biopic, including her marriage and everything about her, because we know she was a flawed individual, which is
Yeah.
fine, and she had problems, which is fine, and she died so young. So you really want to, capture that, what made her pop, because she was incredibly talented, and it is sad that she died so young. So I don't know.
Yeah.
The trailers did not entice me at
No.
all watching that.
I'm looking on Letterboxd. Effie says, truly disgusting. This reads like cheap tabloid piece, reducing Amy Winehouse's life to sensationalize headlines and exploiting her struggles for a cash grab.
Oh, that's even worse.
That's fair. Yeah. It really was bad. And it wasn't even like, I almost would have maybe enjoyed it more if they'd just gone like full on trash. Like, when one of those Lifetime bios.
Oh yes,
like they're still trying to make a good movie here. You know what I mean? It's still trying to be like this inspirational underdog story or whatever, and it's so I could have probably enjoyed it more if they just gone, we're just making a trashy movie about Amy Winehouse. Then maybe it would have been better. But Matt Singer, he says Marissa Abela gives this her all and is systematically let down by everyone around her. Yeah, so that's fair.
Yeah, she deserves a better biopic.
Yeah. Okay, at 47, I have A Sudden Case of Christmas. So it's sad that this is this slow. I did watch it on a plane.
Well, plane movies.
Yeah.
Are the best sometimes.
This young girl, her grandfather runs a inn in Italy, because every movie has to be in Italy these days. And her parents are getting a divorce, but they decide to do this trip to Italy in the summer. They basically like recreate Christmas in the summer for her because they want her to have one more Christmas before they get divorced. That all could be very cute. Fine with it, but they just did nothing with this movie. It was so boring. I was like, even on the plane, I was like, I kept falling asleep. It just was not there, which is a shame because it does have Andy McDowell's in it, Danny DeVito, his daughter is in it. It was very well-meaning. They were trying to make something sweet, but it just was very dull.
Here's my confession for this movie. You know how we watch all these Christmas movies, right? I saw that trailer and I was like, I'm just not going to do it. I have only but so much time.
Yeah, smart. Let me take that bullet for you. We have a comment. Becky, she says, Amy deserves more, so much more. Her music and voice, pure genius. Makes me crazy that they focus on the relationship, not the art. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's true. Like, she deserves another go around.
Yeah.
Another biopic.
All right, 46. I have Find Me Falling. This was Netflix. Another one that was like very well intentioned, but it just was so boring. It's about this rock star who is trying to he goes to this retreat in Cyprus, and there's something that happens in the beginning with this woman, and it involves suicide, so it might be triggering for some people. It was just really boring. I can't remember a whole lot else about it. I was just rude. Allie says, why are we supposed to care about these people? Interesting enough conceit, but that is not enough to make me pay attention to a movie with any real effort.
Yeah, that trailer was not appealing. And I still had Netflix when this premiered, and I was like, nope, the trailer, it didn't catch me. I don't know. It's a shame to judge films by trailers sometimes
That's
because
what their job is,
I
you know?
know, because if they don't sell it right, you're like, nope. And sometimes
Yeah.
they're great. They just have bad trailers.
Like, you should always, I mean, as a critic, because I am gonna see, like, as a non-critic, it's their job to bring me in, to entice me to watch, especially with so much content out these days. You have lots of things, uh, trying to get your attention. But as a critic, like, my only goal is that I have to be open to being surprised. But it is still their job to entice me with the marketing, and if they failed at that job, then that's on them, not on me, in my opinion.
That's
Okay,
true.
so 45 is a movie called French Girl. This I don't think anybody saw but me. This is Zach Braff and Vanessa Hudgens, so it does have a good cast. Trying to remember, it had been a while. He the English teacher, he falls in love with this French girl. This was another one that was kind of boring. I just don't even hardly remember
Clearly,
anything
because you don't remember
about it. Allie says, exactly who do they think is going to choose Zach Braff when Vanessa Hudgens is the other option? So yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's on
I do
Prime. Yeah,
remember
I'm
the
not gonna watch
characters
it.
were pretty unlikable. It just wasn't. Let's see here. What do I say in my mini review? I really did not enjoy this much. The characters are unlikable. The story is lacking in fun and taking itself too seriously. The attempts at being edgy were annoying. Talented people involved, so I was hopeful, but it wasn't for me. So
I have a problem with liking anything that Zach Braff does or did
yeah.
outside of Scrubs. Like that's the only thing I've
Yeah.
liked him in, and I don't.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
unfair to him because he's trying to branch out or whatever. But like I hated Garden State,
yeah. I
and
mean, that was
you
such a
know,
big movie, but I didn't care for it. Yeah, I'm with
yeah,
you.
I
I'm
never
with you.
understood the love for that movie. But
Yeah, I'm
yeah, it's
looking
like
at
I only
his
like him in Scrubs.
Yeah. I'm looking at his filmography. I mean, I guess that Cheaper of a Dozen movie is okay, but
Oh, I forgot he was in that. Oh yeah, he's the daughter's boyfriend or whatever in that. Yeah.
but yeah, you're right. He's more of a TV guy.
Yeah.
He should just keep getting chatting with Donald Faison and getting TV. 44 and I would say from 44 through like 18 are like movies I'm more like mid on. So
Mhm.
we're done with the ones I like actively disliked. So there's things that are more like 2.5 stars. Okay, so next is a movie called Marmalade. This is a indie. It stars Joe Carey from Stranger Things, and it's kind of like a Bonnie Clyde kind of story. It's like these two inmates start talking, and they end up talking about this woman who came into Joe Carey's life, and she wasn't like a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but she's like this like crazy wild like marmalade. Oh my gosh, and it was watchable, but just not not great, but watchable, I would say. So yeah, that's where I ended up 44 for Marmalade. I don't
I've
remember
never
that
heard
much
of
else
it.
about it. Yeah.
I looked at the poster. It's very colorful.
Yeah. So we have Becky saying, agreed. I don't like the Garden State as a movie, but it's one of the best soundtracks of all time. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one, and this is just the name of the movies, don't get mad at me. It's the American Society of Magical Negroes. That's the name of the movie. It's a shame because I think that this movie had some potential. I think a lot of people were hoping that it would be this year's American Fiction, which was so good in 2023. So funny, so insightful, the satire by critiquing race relations and how, you know, we treat each other and all of that.
Yeah.
It just wasn't there. It just felt like such a mixed opportunity. There are some like cute, it's actually like totally a rom-com. There's some cute moments between Justice Smith and this girl that he falls for, that he's supposed to be like, he's supposed to be helping the white man in the conceit of this movie, to get this girl, but then he falls for. And there are some cute moments, but it just had so much potential to be like something really memorable, and it's just not there. If you're going to give something this title, you know, you really need to deliver, I think.
I saw the trailer for this, but then this played nowhere near me. So I never got a chance to watch it, but I was curious to see it because I was like, oh, this is an interesting kind of mix up to like the regular rom-coms that we see. You know, sometimes it's the same old story. And I was like, it might be an interesting take on it. But I wonder too if a lot of people were, when it was at the theater, like afraid to like say, can I get a ticket to that? Especially the older crowd who still buys their tickets, you know, at the booth.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I
I
never
never
anymore at the booth. I'm so old. I'm sorry, people.
Right. I mean, I was I never reviewed it because I was terrified of somebody splicing, even now, just saying it, you know, now I was terrified of someone splicing that out and, you know, somehow
Yeah,
using it.
I do wonder if the title made people like stay away.
I just feel like if you're going to give it that title, it needs to really be like insightful and biting, and you know what I mean? Like you really need to deliver. If you're going to go out there, then it needs to be more memorable than
it's kind of sad
this.
that people are so afraid of a title, because you really should just go up there and be fine with like saying it and like watching what they're trying to tell you in the movie. But I think it could have turned off some people, but
it also, I mean, it just seems like the Black critics that I knew, that I followed, seems like they didn't like it. So that, I mean, if they're not happy, I mean, I'm not the target audience for this, you know, obviously. So anyway, moving on. Number 42, you might have seen this maybe. Number 42, I have Here from Robert Zemeckis. Did you see this?
I missed it. I got sick. This is the one with the Tom Hanks, right? The one shot. Yeah. I had my ticket bought to go see it, and I ended up getting sick, and I had to cancel it.
Okay.
And
the only reason that this is this high is because it is very well made. It's and like, I think for a short, the concept could have like worked better for short, but for a whole movie, oh my gosh. I mean, it was a rough day. I saw Emilia Perez and this on the same day.
Wow.
Oof. You know,
Rachel.
It was rough. That was a rough letter.
Don't understand how hard it can be out there.
Yes.
I would have quit my day. I quit my day. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. So the concept behind this is you have a camera that's stationed at a house in New England, and it follows from literally prehistoric all the way to current time, to 2023. And so they have to they have all these convoluted sort of reasons to have all of these scenes in basically like the family room of this house.
Wait, they start from prehistoric time?
They have prehistoric scenes, yeah.
Why did you just start from the like building Native of the
American house? And some of the Native American scenes are just out of this world cringe, like just embarrassing. Some of the stuff between, I mean, where it's like a romance is sort of the marriage between Robin Wright and Tom Hanks. And they do like a pretty good job. There's like some good scenes, but it's frustrating because they're like divided up. It's not like it's linear. It doesn't go, so you'll have like, it's non-linear. So you'll have like a decent scene between them and their marriage as they struggle, go back and forth. And his father is very difficult in their marriage and stuff like that. You'll have those scenes. And then you'll have like a scene from I think it's like the 1930s with a guy who's going to invent the lazy boy, and then you have scenes. It just all
I
these
mean, does
different
the
scenes.
gimmick work though?
No, it
Okay.
doesn't. It
Would it
just
have
feels
been I'm sorry, would it have
it,
been better if it was just the story of that house and the people that lived there, like, through
oh,
generations?
definitely.
Okay.
And like I said, as a short, I think this could have
Mhm.
been like, oh, that was sort of like fun for 5-10 minutes to see like the passing of time and whatever. I think it could have maybe even 20 minutes. Like it could. I was saying it felt like somebody went on the Carousel Progress at Disneyland. It was like
Oh,
Zemeckis. He went on Carousel
no.
Progress and he was like, let's make it a feature film. Like
Oh, I mean, it could have been, Rachel, it could have been.
I would
How was
put it
the
past him.
de-aging, though? In the trailer, it didn't seem that bad, the de-aging, or did it
It's
work?
not that bad because you're at like a distance.
Okay.
There's like a little bit of space
And especially because we
between.
know what they looked like at younger. We have so much movies
Yeah.
of, like, Tom Hanks at that age, so it's
Like it's surprising because since Colin Hanks is a working actor, why wouldn't you just have him play young? And he looks so much like his dad. Why wouldn't you just have him play young?
well, Zemeckis is really into,
Oh,
like, playing with all these gimmicks and the technology, so I could
right.
see him
Yeah.
trying to. I mean,
Unfortunately. I
that
mean,
is the phase of his career and his life right
yeah.
now.
Zemeckis is one of those directors who has really struggled to embrace the digital era. Like, I just think that Chris Columbus, Robert Zemeckis, Tim Burton, um, Rob Reiner, those are some of the ones I think that just were so good in the more practical era of the 80s, had many great films, and then I just feel like have for the most part, have really struggled in the 2000s. I guess Chris Columbus would be the most successful because he had Harry Potter and things. But I just think they've really struggled in this new
Yeah.
era of filmmaking. Zemeckis is probably the worst of all of them.
But he
Whew,
just loves, doing this stuff now with all these, like,
yeah,
new ideas. I don't know.
yeah. I think you could even say Ridley Scott. He's had some hit or misses, but I think he's had a lot of struggle. I don't know, but they keep giving the white men of that era. They keep getting shot after shot after shot. It doesn't matter. They keep making movies. So God
Ridley
bless them.
Scott has, like, but he's different. I think it's always like he's got one good movie, a bad movie, then he goes back to doing
Yeah,
another good movie. However you feel about it, but like, I still need Ridley Scott because the last Duel looked great, and he was like, now that's what a medieval movie should
yeah,
look like. So I need Ridley Scott to live a couple of more years to make a couple of more medieval movies, and that's it.
yeah. Okay, so next 41, I have a little movie called Chosen Family, and Hallmarkies fans will be interested in this because John Brotherton as the romantic lead. So that was kind of fun to see him in a feature film. Um, it's about this. He plays a single dad, and he starts dating Heather Graham, who's this yoga instructor, and she's all like, like you'd think for a yoga instructor. And the little girl is a lot in this movie. She doesn't like her. She doesn't like Heather Graham. And she is just very annoying. And the humor just really didn't land, but I actually thought they had pretty good chemistry. It's watchable. It's not awful, but it wasn't great. So I have at 41. 40, I have Mother of the Bride. This was Netflix. This is another one that's like watchable. It's not awful, but it just doesn't do anything like interesting, or you've got this great cast and it's just all incredibly predictable and not funny. And like if you're just looking for a very basic rom-com, it's fine, but and you might get some escapism. But when you have Brooke Shields, Miranda Cosgrove, Benjamin Bratt, Chad Michael Murray, Rachel Harris, you've got this like great cast. You should be able to do something. And how I am with wedding movies, so
It's a
yeah,
hard sell to begin with for you, Rachel.
yeah. So, okay, now this is where I'm going to get some pushback, but everybody knows I wasn't a big fan of this movie on this channel. I have The Fall Guy at number 39.
Mm.
I just thought this movie was so disappointing. I saw it at South by Southwest at the big premiere. The stars were all there. I was like in the ideal setting of if I was going to like it, it would be there. And I still didn't like it. And there were a lot of things I didn't like about it. I didn't like that our couple spent so little time together, and
Yeah.
the story that they gave him to do while they were separated was so lame. Like, I just did not care about him going all around. I forget where they were. It was like what city they were in, but just going around that city and looking for this actor. That was just not an interesting plot, like, at all.
Wait, were you
And
familiar with the show?
I'd heard of the show, and of course I knew the theme song,
Okay.
but I just felt like it just felt like this director, he just wanted to show off how David Leitch, he just wanted to show off how he could make stunt sequences and
Mhm.
not give us like an actual romance, an actual
Well,
story.
I went to go see this movie way past like it was like 4 or 5 weeks in. So
Yeah.
it was just on its way out. But I was unaware that this was supposed to be a rom-com because it's not a rom-com. Whenever I saw the trailers, I was like, no, this is an action adventure movie. And I was
Yeah, I guess the trailers really sold the rom-com for me, and then
yeah,
when
I
they
never
did
expected it. Yeah.
when they did the Oscars together and they were just like that banter, I
Yeah.
was just like, so whatever
I
reason,
just
I
yeah.
was expecting it to be, it was my number one most anticipated. I really thought this was going to be like a super fun action
I
romance.
didn't I didn't even care if they got together because I
How
thought
could you? They're barely together.
I know, like, I just didn't care, like, I was a little disappointed because it wasn't exactly like the TV show, but it wouldn't have been, and yes, I was the nerd who clapped at the end with the theme song, and when Lee Majors showed up, I screamed, but I was the only one in the theater, so,
Yeah.
so it
I
doesn't
don't know.
matter,
I just feel like it
but
could have been so much better. And to me, the stunts were just meaningless. Like, I don't care. And it's not like it's like Mission Impossible where they were like so incredible that like that's entertainment enough for me.
mm,
I wanted a story that I cared about. Like, this story was so lame to me. I just
there
did
was
not
some
care about this story of him
There
like
was some
finding
funny
this
moments, though.
actor.
I will say that I thought he was very good in it, and he was funny. Like that moment was like, you got to eat more carbs. You're becoming stupid." I laughed at that. I thought
Yeah.
that was funny. I think if
There
there
were a
was
couple
no
funny
romance,
parts.
it would have been better, because I think if he had just been he was just a stunt guy who accidentally went into this, but if he had been an investigator going undercover to like solve these crimes, kind of like the TV show, I think that would have been a more entertaining movie. But they did too much with it. But I don't dislike it as much as you do because I view it in a different realm. It's like it's an action movie for me. It's not a romance. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I just wish
it's
that
really divisive. This movie ended up becoming divisive with some people who like
yeah.
loved it and then like kind of liked it and didn't like it. I am
Yeah.
surprised it bombed though. Like it didn't do as well as it did. I am
Yeah.
surprised more people didn't go see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it seemed like almost everybody liked it way more than I did. But to each their own. So, okay. So here we go. Where am I? All right. So 38, I have The Fabulous Four. This is another movie I watched on the plane. Uh, um, and
Rachel be traveling.
there's this whole group of senior citizen cinema. It's like a whole thing, and where like book club and that the one about the Patriots, Flirty for Brady or whatever that one was. There just a ton of
Oh,
these
80
sort of
for Brady. Oh, yeah.
made for senior citizens. This one is watchable, but it is frustrating when you have these incredible actresses and you cannot get them better jokes. You cannot make
Oh,
it
that is
better.
a
Like
shame. I didn't
it's
like the trailer, yeah,
it's
and you know I eat these
watchable as
cheesy
like a
stuff.
sitcom. If this is the kind of movie that like if it was on like TBS, on like a morning you could watch it. And but to have Susan Sarandon, Bette Midler, Megan Mullally, Cheryl Lee Ralph, like great. These women are incredible
Yeah.
legends that you can't get them better jokes.
See, I eat these movies up, but they are like only a few of them are really good, and most of them are just getting these famous or well-known actresses together to just sometimes do embarrassing things.
Yeah,
And
and this would be that.
and when I looked at the trailer, I was like, oh, see, this didn't get me like book club. I enjoyed the book club movies. I thought at least there's something to
Yeah,
it.
I agree.
And even book club 2, you like uh they're in Italy, so there's at least that, right? But and so
Mhm.
there's funny things, but I don't know. I just didn't get it. And I when I watched the trailer, I didn't buy that all these four women could be that close of friends.
Yeah.
And I almost thought I was like, what's Megan, oh, I can't remember her last name. Karen, right? From Grace, from Will and Grace.
Yeah, Megan
I
Mullally.
don't yes, that's it. I don't I was like, is she old enough to be in this like friend group?
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. Like, is
Yeah,
she?
like yeah, because I know. I mean, that's terrible for me to say because I know like Susan Sarandon and Bette Midler, they're in the same age
In the
age group,
70s, I
and
think, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and so I was like, does she quite belong here? Like, I didn't buy that chemistry in the movie, and I don't
Just
think people that age act that silly when they're getting
yeah.
married or remarried or whatever. I've
And
never. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've seen some crazy stuff at weddings,
and
but
it's just like just because it's an old person saying a naughty word, like come on. You got to do
I
better than that. Like
they've been
and
saying
like
naughty words for their entire life.
an old person taking edibles, like come on. You got to be more funny than that.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that's
that
just
but that should be probably I was gonna say aged out, but those type of jokes, I mean, the older crowd, they have been taking edibles. They
Mhm.
have been saying dirty words since they were teenagers. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be like, like gasp.
You
We should
just
move on from
need
that.
it to be funny. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, number 37, I have a family affair. And I guess you could say this is a toxic relationship, but
Mhm.
whatever. The relationship between so you have Nicole Kidman falling for Zac Efron, and just that could be fine. I don't have a problem with that, but like it just wasn't they'd have no chemistry at all. And it just wasn't that funny. So it was watchable. It wasn't
I
like
I saw that
horrible.
trailer and I was like, I'm not watching this. It just
Yeah.
nothing attracted me to that.
No. I didn't watch it until doing this list. I'm like, okay, I guess I finally gotta watch it. uh, okay. 36, I have Drive Away Dolls. And this is a mixed bag. I mean, I do think that Margaret Qualley and Geraldine Via Santa, sorry, I ruined your name, but anyway, and Beanie Feldstein, they are very funny ladies, and there are some funny moments in this movie, but it just felt like they wanted to make a lesbian raunchy comedy, which no problem with that, but they didn't like think beyond that. It was just I felt like they were kind of making it up every day. It was like felt very improv dependent,
Mhm.
and it didn't a lot of that didn't land. I just wasn't laughing enough. And it was very loud. It was very the characters were very annoying, but it does have its moments. I can see why some people would enjoy it. But yeah, end up 36 for me. 35, I have How to Date Billy Walsh. And this is Netflix. And it's one of those movies that so she has like the best friend who's of course in love with her, and she's like pining after the perfect, beautiful Billy Walsh. And he's gonna help her to, be with. We've seen this many times. The problem was the nerdy best friend was a jerk. You hated him. The cool guy who I think you're supposed to be like, oh, he's, your diva, your cool guy, jock, whatever. He was way nicer. I was like, I want her to be with that guy, not with the nerdy guy. But it's like, it's again watchable Netflix teen rom-com, but just the character, I just really didn't like the lead guy, so that's a problem.
I think it's Amazon, isn't it? Not Netflix.
Oh, you're right. It's Amazon. Yeah.
Is this a British movie or? Because I'm old, so I don't recognize any of these faces. I might be wrong.
I can't remember. Jenny very rom-com says the only stars this movie gets are for the young actors who did their very best with an unfortunate script. But this story sucks. This is a movie written for every whiny guy who thinks Ducky should have gotten Andy in Pretty in Pink.
First of all, Ducky should have gotten Andy in Pretty in Pink. Don't get me started.
She says, actually, not even all those guys will like it because Ducky is actually pretty decent compared to Archie in this movie. Ducky has self-confident style and is honest enough to tell Andy how he feels. The Ducky of this movie, Archie, has no confidence, doesn't tell Millie how he feels, and then when she falls for Billy, proceeds to lie to her and undermine her at every turn. He still gets the girl in the end. So, she's right about that. Number 34, I have Lonely Planet. This is a very boring movie, but it does have two very beautiful leads who it has Laura Dern and Liam Hemsworth. But you're given it's in Morocco, so it's very pretty. So you might like it. It's escapist, but it was. I needed more than just pretty people in a pretty place. Like the story just didn't do it for me. Watchable, but
I haven't heard of this one, and it's a Netflix. See, Netflix is notorious for having so many movies nobody has heard of.
Yeah.
You really got to scroll through their stuff to find some of these movies.
Yeah. So
you're right. I should see it. It's got that flair to it.
33. I have Love Lies Bleeding. Okay, so this also is a pretty toxic relationship. So what do I know about this? But anyway, Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien have super hot chemistry. It is a very sexy movie, and it has great style. Rose Glass is a very good director. She creates, she knows how to shoot actors and make things look really sexy and really intimate, and just she has a very cool visual aesthetic. Her director of photography was very talented. All of that I liked. It was the last third of the movie just really went off the rails for me for this one, and I can see why other people really enjoy it if you can kind of stomach that. It kind of goes in a supernatural turn, and I just couldn't. The ending was not for me, but it does have many good qualities about it. So then next I have 32. I have Sweethearts. This is a rom-com. It's a friends to lovers story. They'd been so they had both been with high school sweethearts, and they are going to dump their perspective. Basically, I'll just read this. This is easier. Two college freshmen who decide to stick with their high school sweethearts have to pull a turkey dump and break up with them over Thanksgiving, the one chaotic night before Thanksgiving in their hometown that puts their codependent friendship to the test. So it's friends to lovers kind of a thing. Kieran Shipka and Nico Haraga. So this is younger, and it's trying to do kind of the edgy, raunchy, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's watchable, but
no, I did not know this movie existed, and I was like, "Oh, Sally from Mad Men." She's
right,
yeah. That shook. I still get shook every time I see her. You know
Yeah.
how that is, Rachel. Like,
Well,
oh
she
no.
was the worst. I hated Sally and Mad Men. Okay, so 31, I have Meet Me Next Christmas. This was Netflix. So this woman, she meets this guy and they have this like serendipity, amazing connection. We'll meet next Christmas at the Pentatonics concert. But then all these things happen and she's trying to get there. This other guy like finds out about it and ends up helping her to try to get this ticket to the Pentatonics concert. Because in the world of this movie, like Pentatonics is like Taylor Swift. Like you cannot get a ticket.
They have a huge following, Rachel.
Yeah, but I
they
mean,
have a huge following. Like
yes.
I knew who they were, but
I just didn't think they're like icon worthy. Like you cannot find a ticket.
I stepped into the world one time where they are like their fans are like massive and they're like, which is great. But it is when you're outside of that, you don't realize how like,
Yeah.
But I think this was I always love when they make movies out of not a prop, but like, let's put this group and like write a movie around it. I always find that so hysterical when they just choose one object or one group and then they just come up with a movie around that.
The problem with this movie is that so she has this great connection with this guy at the beginning, but that's not Endgame guy. It's the guy that she's with, trying to find this ticket. And the problem is that this guy, the Endgame guy, had no charisma. He just wasn't. He was flat to me, and you wanted her to be with the guy from the beginning. At least I did.
No.
So that's kind of a problem.
That is the worst part when you're watching a rom-com, when you just clearly are rooting for the guy you know is not going to win in the end.
Yeah.
When you're watching that. I mean, it sucks because you're like, oh.
Yeah. So at 30, I have Kiss Me Kate. This was a pro shot of the West End production of Kiss Me Kate. This was incredibly disappointing. Obviously, I'm a Broadway girl. I love, I host the Onstage blog. I love theater, live theater. I was super pumped about this, but I have absolutely no idea why anybody thought this production was pro shot worthy. Like the guy, Adrian Dunbar, he was bad singer, bad actor, no chemistry at all between these two. I mean, I have it as high as I do because those Cole Porter songs, of course, like so good. But like, and she's good. She's like decent. But like if you don't have that chemistry here, because they're fighting the whole time, like it's just a killer. And the dance was underwhelming. I mean, if you compare it to like Anything Goes, the pro shot of that, unbelievable. And that was also Cole Porter songs. The dancing was so good.
Is this the second pro shot they've done of Kiss Me Kate? Because I swore I saw one in like the early 2000s. I can't remember.
Probably. I don't know that, but this one was I got the Fathom event. I was there.
Oh,
it was disappointing.
I saw some like this will pop up on PBS on Great Performances.
Yeah, it will.
I could have sworn that I've already seen a pro shot of Kiss Me Kate, but
I mean, even the original film is almost like a pro shot because it's all behind the scenes of 29 is where I have Our Little Secret. This was Lindsay Lohan's Christmas movie. I liked the banter and I thought that the cast was really good, but these two her and Ian Harding spent the whole movie fighting and so I just was not invested in their relationship at all. I liked some of the family and some of the script was pretty funny, but because I was not invested in the romance at all, it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
28 is Someone Like You. This is a Karen Kingsbury drama. It's like, and I'm trying to remember this movie.
Wait, is this where the dude's girlfriend or fiance dies and he finds her sister? Is this the one?
Yeah, but it's not even just her sister. It's that
twin, right?
Well, yeah, but also it was a separated Like they were just embryos. Like they weren't even like
Okay.
twins. They were like, you know what I mean? Like they weren't carried
Yeah.
together. They weren't like this was so it's only genes. It's not even like a surrogacy or anything like it was just this embryo. And then he falls in love with both
Of course he does.
you know,
This is on my to watch list. I just haven't gotten to it.
like it's serviceable if you're looking for like a Nicholas Sparksian kind of type of movie. It's serviceable, but I just thought this plot was absolutely ridiculous. So I got 28. 27, I have Royal Facade. This is a very, very indie, like no budget rom-com. But I thought it was cute enough. This princess, she goes to this small town and so there's this movie star and the chef who looks just like the movie star. It's like
Ridiculous.
a doppelganger.
Yeah.
And so she
what you think is going to happen happens. I started to watch this one yesterday, Rachel.
Oh, you did?
And I started to. I got like 15 minutes in, and I was like, I think I'm just going to move along now. I'm going to honestly force myself to finish watching it today. You know, so I'm not unfan of the movie, but it was just like, I was like, this is.
Yeah, I can understand that. It definitely is.
You know, I think it could have been a tad bit more wittier with the premise of like, why does this actor have like this chef doppelganger? I mean, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I had enough fun with it. It's definitely like very, very, very cheap, and some of the especially
totally independent.
I thought that the leads were I thought the leads were pretty good, and especially the lead woman. I interviewed both of them for Hallmarkies podcast, but especially some of the extras and supporting can be rough. This is where it is. Some people would be think I'm insane for putting it above the Fall Guy, but that's the way I roll. Okay. 25 or 26, I have Players. This was on Netflix. Gina Rodriguez, Damon Wayans Jr., and they are New York sports writer Mac has spent years devising successful hookup plays with her friends. When she's unexpectedly falls for one of her targets, she must learn what it takes to go from simply scoring to playing for keeps. So this is like a friends to lovers story, and these leads are great, and they had really good chemistry. The banter was pretty fun. It was decent. It was like decent.
Yeah. I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, 25 is Upgraded. This is kind of a Devil Wears Prada sort of take. This intern young woman, she gets this job, basically kind of Devil Wears Prada, for this fashion designer. And Marissa Tomei, her character is kind of funny, but also sort of a lot. She's the boss. There's a lot of her in this. But it's like pleasant enough. There's like a romance, Archie Renault. It's pleasant if you're just looking for kind of a disposable rom-com. Upgraded. 24, I have Irish Wish. I'm like the only person that got to enjoy it of this movie. I kind of liked the screwball comedy element of it, so she makes this wish, like it's a friends to lovers story. Well, it's a take on it because she's in love with her best friend. She goes over for his wedding. She makes this wish, and in Ireland with all the lore and everything, and she ends up waking up. She's engaged to him, this alternate reality, and then there's this guy that she keeps running into in both reality. That's of course very charming. I thought it had sort of that, like I said, sort of screwball energy. It's like something you could have seen like Doris Day.
Yeah, that's what. Yes.
So I had fun with it,
like that from the trailer. I haven't watched this one. Again, it's on my once I get Netflix back, it's on my to watch list.
It seemed like almost everybody enjoyed it. Everybody did enjoy it except for me. So go figure. 23, I have The Merry Gentleman. This was our like Magic Mike Christmas edition. And Chad Michael Murray actually seemed like he was having fun with this movie.
I loved all the promotion that
Yeah.
Netflix did for this. His
And the
calendar.
calendar,
That
yeah.
was so hysterical.
And Britt Robertson, she's solid, I think. It's not like amazing, but it was fun enough for for a if you get tired of the squeaky clean Hallmark movies. It's not like it's even that actually that edgy, but like if you want something with a little spice, then you can watch it. 22, I have 5 Blind Dates. This is a cute little rom-com. This I liked the lead a lot. Shang Hu. It's more focused on her business than finding love. Leah is forced to go on 5 blind dates set up by her family and best friend after she is told by a fortune teller that her love life and the success of her tea shop are involved. The problem is that she spending all this time with people that is not endgame, and that we don't really care about.
Yeah.
So it kind of that was the problem, but I did really like her. It's cute enough. 21, I have Fly Me to the Moon. And this is actually like they were selling this movie as if it was like a total rom-com. It's barely a rom-com. I did recommend it.
It's true.
But it was almost more for the other parts. It's more of like a space movie, business movie kind of a thing.
Oh,
rather,
totally. Yeah. This
like there's a couple like fun scenes.
Yeah, that conspiracy theories on the moon landing are gonna love. Like the conspiracy theorists are gonna love it. And they really played with that idea, which I thought was inventive for the movie. But like I hated Scarlett Johansson's character. And I was like, Channing Tatum could have done better in the movie than end up with her, or potentially.
Like there's like a meet cute, there's like some romantic comedy elements, but like just not near as much as I thought there would be. From the trailer, and so like it looks nice, it's watchable. I just and no chemistry between these two. None.
None. Again, I found her so unlikable, but I did love Woody Harrelson, like whatever he was doing.
Yeah,
Ray Romano was great in this movie, though.
Yeah, it had a good supporting.
Yeah,
supporting cast.
Was great in it.
Yeah. 20, I have The Greatest Hits. This I saw at South by Southwest, and I was really sick when I saw it, so I had terrible allergies, and so I wasn't feeling good. So I really do need to give it another shot. It's about this. Man who so it's about this woman and her fiance dies, and the new Superman, David Cornsweet. Anyway, he's incredibly attractive, and she finds out that when she plays certain albums, the greatest hits, she goes turns her back in time to being with her fiance, and she has this friend played with Justin Min, who's also very dreamy. That it's like, how long does she stay in the past versus like starting and trying to heal? Like it's so tempting, be with my fiance, be with my love, and so it's like it's like a decent movie. It's like a decent movie. I just it was just a little slow, a little boring, but like the cast is good, the music's really good. It's all right. It's all right. So now we're getting the top 20, and 19, and this is definitely, I debated about including it, but I just felt like I should. I have Challengers at 19, which some people will be shocked to be so low, and it's definitely like pretty toxic, so whatever. But I mean, just the chemistry between these 3 people is like very good, very well done. I was expecting by the trailers for it to be way spicier than it actually was. Like it's not that much, but like as a sports movie, it's like pretty fun. The soapy elements were like fine, but like less compelling to me. But like all the scenes playing tennis were quite good, and the score was great. It should have been nominated for the Oscar, the score, in my opinion. Um, the three leads are quite good. So that's what gets it this high. But I didn't love it like a lot of other people did.
Yeah. It
Did
should
you
have been
see it?
sexier. I saw this is another movie. I was with a friend. We watched half of it. I have to go back to finish watching the other half with her. She
Okay.
was gonna finish it without me. I was like,
So
okay.
you weren't like super compelled of like who's she gonna
No,
pick?
I wasn't super
Who's she gonna
compelled
pick?
to finish it, to be honest. I'll wait
Okay.
for her to come back.
All right, 18. I have Lisa Frankenstein. I
Oh,
enjoyed this
love
movie. I
this
did give it
one.
a fresh review, but I wish that she had gotten on board with him a little bit sooner. She spent the whole movie
Yes,
pining after this other
that's true.
guy,
Yeah.
and so that kind of hurt the romance for me.
Yeah.
But it is extremely stylish. It looked great. The leads were good.
I
I
can't believe how much I love this movie, but it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And
But I just think it could have been a better romance.
right. Now, this was a secret movie when I went to go see it. And I was
Uh-huh.
so excited because I was going to see it anyhow. And when he starts playing the piano, like all slow, and she's dancing, and all of a sudden it pops up to an REO Speedwagon song. And I was like, yes. I was the only one who recognized it in the movie.
Yeah, it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun.
It's just bizarre. I loved it.
Yeah. Okay, 17. I have Love Divided. This is, I think, I can't remember if it was Amazon or Netflix, but
Netflix.
it's a
movie, right?
and it's a foreign film.
Yeah.
I forget if it's Brazil or anyway. But it was pretty fun. It's about this this is a total COVID movie, but it's about this two people. Valentina is a young pianist starting over. Her neighbor David is an inventor who hates noise, and a paper thin wall is about to become their matchmaker.
Yeah, I found this charming. This was from Spain.
Oh, you saw it?
Oh yeah, this was a Netflix movie. This is from Spain.
Yeah.
This is I think this was on my rom-com when we did the ranking for the I think. Now I'm not sure.
And didn't it feel just like so satisfying when they finally break down that wall?
Oh my gosh. I was like, yes, yes. The best part about this movie though is that I didn't have to put the subtitles on because I understand Spanish. Because I hate Netflix's subtitles. How it like just looks, how they do it. And I was
even
like,
worse
it off.
is
great.
Even worse is that sometimes it'll have it on the dub.
Oh.
And that's even worse. Make sure that you have it on the sub, not the dub.
Yeah, because
it sounds so weird having this like artificial voice coming out of these characters.
I know. Like don't be afraid of subtitles. Always watch a movie in its native language so you can get the gist.
Yeah, but this was pretty cute. It really was
adorable, and I was really rooting for them. And when they were so annoying each other with playing the piano, and I can't work on my scientific because he never left the house, and the cat. I mean, it was adorable.
Number 16, I have We Live in Time. This is basically a Nicholas Sparks movie, but given like an A24 skin to it, so it has like a little more sensuality. It has a little more, like it's just a tiny bit more edge to it. But I enjoyed it for what it is. I think that they had really good chemistry, Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. If you're, like I said, if you're wanting one of those romantic,
it's a cancer movie, Rachel.
It's a cancer movie. It's like a
the minute you sit in, you like somebody's dying.
Oh yeah.
It's not a spoiler. You just know it automatically.
But if you're in the mood for one of those if you're in the mood for a weepy, a tearjerker romance, it's like decent.
It is. Yes, they are very good and horrifying that she, where she gives birth in.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was the best scene of
that was the best
scenes of the movie.
And they just have so many touching moments, and you can't really like at one moment you're mad at her for her decisions, but you can't be really mad at her because you also understand her at the same time.
Yeah.
They really they were really good in this. And I don't even enjoy Florence Pugh. I know everybody's like, she's so great. And I'm like, but I thought she was really good in this. And so was Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. I love her, but yeah.
Yeah.
15. Excuse me. Okay, so I would say that these top 15 are more like I'm getting to more of like an actual like fan of these movies. 15 is where I have a tiny micro budget indie called Guy Friends. And this, I actually interviewed the director on Hallmarkies podcast and Jonathan Smith. And he like makes these movies. He just like charges them on his credit card, like for like nothing. I mean, even in the world of indies, he makes these movies for like $10,000. Like, I mean, nothing. It's just like him and his friend. I think it's his sister-in-law plays the lead, if I'm recalling. I mean, it's just nothing. So you have to kind of, not that it's an excuse if it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie, but like you do kind of have to watch it for what it is. But nevertheless, this is basically like about this. I enjoyed it. It's about this girl who is always had like guy friends, and something happens where they all start falling in love with her, all of her guy friends, and it just kind of throws her through like what is happening, and everybody's trying to like propose to her, and everybody's like, and so all of a sudden this like sort of reality of hers where she just had all these guy friends is not working out. And I thought it was cute. It was charming, good leads, and just impressive of what he did with practically nothing. So, Guy Friends. And then I have a 14. I have National Anthem. This should have been the Emilia Perez of 2024. Like if you want to champion a trans story in 2024, this is the one, not Emilia Perez. It's about Charlie Plummer, who is one of my favorite young actors. He's so good. He plays this young man who gets a job at this ranch that's also sort of the home of this gay circus troupe. There's like gay circus. I didn't know it was a thing, but yay. And he falls for this trans woman that's a like horse performer, like stands on the horses and whatever. Anyway, she's great. They have really good chemistry. It's like a good story. It's a coming of age story, and it's just very well done, beautifully shot. So
sounds 1,000 times better than Emilia Perez.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 13, I have humanist vampire seeking consenting suicidal person.
Well, at least he's honest.
What a title. But it's actually quite charming. It's a good movie. It's about this it's about this girl, and that's a vampire, but she gets at the beginning of the movie, this is a horror movie, but at the beginning of the movie, her parents basically invite this clown to entertain her as a child, and then they end up killing the clown. And so she's like traumatized by it. And so she never wants to kill anybody. And but she, in order to be fully transformed into like get her teeth and everything, she has to do it. She can't just be drinking the blood in the world of this movie. And so she has to do it. And so she goes to this like grief grief counseling suicide, and she meets this young man, and they have like really good chemistry, and they start to fall for each other, and then of course that makes it more complicated because now she doesn't want to kill him, but he like is so was so depressed, but now he's feeling it.
Now he's feeling good. Yeah. On one hand, she was smart. She went to the
yeah.
I don't want to kill anybody, so let me just.
I think that a lot of people would like this movie.
It sounds entertaining.
It's bloody. It is, it's not scary. There's no like scares, but it is horror. And so it's not going to be for everybody. But I think if you're open to that kind of movie, it was actually pretty good. I liked it.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, you should check it. Okay, 12. I have The Idea of You. This was the Anne Hathaway, Nicholas Galsantine, May December romance. They evidently they changed it from the book, changed the ending, which sounds like it was a good move. They had super good chemistry. It was very pleasant. I enjoyed it. I think that they maybe had too much music. Like we didn't need like they were a little like long these concert scenes and these singing scenes, but it's thoroughly enjoyable, I would say.
Yeah, and this is inspired, isn't it? Wasn't the author inspired by a real boy band? Uh, can't remember the.
I don't know. I don't know.
I read it somewhere. She was inspired by a real boy band. I think I just can't remember which.
Do you
band.
see this one?
No, it's on my Amazon like to watch like my list, and I just haven't gotten around to watch it.
It's a shame we couldn't have seen it in the theater. I saw it in the theater because they had a screening.
Yeah,
but
I do think that it probably would have done well.
Yeah, I think so.
There's definitely an
charismatic
audience for
stars. 11, I have Hot Frosty is my number 11.
I mean, how could it not be? I was wondering, Rachel. I was like, how Frosty gonna be?
Our Fall in Love with the Snowman Come to Life movie. Bonkers, funny. I don't know. I mean, you're either gonna like this movie or you're gonna think it's like incredibly stupid. But I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was taking itself too seriously. It had fun and they were cute. And
do they make a sequel, Rachel? Because this was I mean,
if I was gonna do a sequel, I would have it be like another like
they get another Hallmark star. Who do we get this time? Who does Netflix?
Good question.
Who does Netflix push this time? Would it be on the male or the female?
It'd have to be one that's because obviously you couldn't have like Candace or someone like that because they couldn't do the like hot element,
No.
Like so you need somebody who's like open to like a little bit of edge.
I don't know. Or would you go like a Snow Woman this time instead of Snowman? It's Snow Woman.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Oh, but they could coach Tyler Hines.
You know what would be fun if they had what's his name from To All the Boys, Noah Centineo. That could be fun if you had the next Lindsay Lohan Noah Centineo project be a Hot Frosty 2. I'd watch that all day.
I think Netflix has to capitalize this and make a sequel.
Yeah.
Because everybody was talking about it. Everybody was calling it a Hallmark movie too.
Yeah. Yeah. People that didn't know thought it was a Hallmark movie, which is really funny. I don't think this is as good as Snowman's. If you're talking my Snowman Come to Life, but
I know
I love Snowman's, but it's still pretty fun. Number 10, I have Girl Haunts Boy. I interviewed the director and writer of this because I enjoyed it so much. This is your young man who kind of falls for this ghost of this woman from the 1920s, starts to put the pieces together. And it was really cute, charming, well filmed. It's got some good music, original songs. I thought it was very charming. So number 10. Number 9 is Which Brings Me to You. This is one of the more underrated films on this list. I interviewed Peter Hutchings for Hallmarkies podcast because I enjoyed the film. Lucy Hale, Nat Wolff. It's one of those movies that like follows a couple. It's kind of like Before Sunrise, following a couple for like 24 hours or whatever. It's not like on that level, but it was that format. Basically, like they both come to this wedding of her friend. They're feeling kind of down. They end up making out in a closet, and then they spend like the whole day, just talking about their various relationships and I thought it was really cute. I liked them. I enjoyed it. So yeah, one of the more underrated, I would say, for this year.
I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah. Number 8, Skywalkers, a love story. It's a documentary on Netflix about this couple, and they're crazy, and they go to the top of these crazy buildings and do
I know.
these walks, and it's kind of focused on this. I think it's in Dubai. I think this like super tall building. I can't remember, but they're these acrobats, but they're also in love, and it's fun.
Would catch me never doing that.
No, no,
I don't.
but enjoyable.
You really gotta have like no fear for that type of stuff.
Yeah. So I find watching it. I just don't.
Oh right, yeah, let's go watch it.
But it is
Mm.
it is a love story.
Yep.
Skywalker's a love story. So number 7, I have And Mrs. This is another very underrated film from 2024. I just like it was very clever. So it's about this woman who she basically agrees to get married, to get engaged to her fiance, because her fiance like really wants to get married. Like she's perfectly fine cohabitating, living together. She doesn't really feel the need to get married, but like he really wants to, and she loves him, so she's going to get married to him. But just after they get engaged, he suddenly dies of like a heart attack, whatever. And so then she decides that she is going to try to legally be married to him, get married to him, because it was so important to him, even though he's dead, like for them to be declared married. And so the things that she has to do. So obviously it's like sad because he's dead. But like I also found it quite like funny and charming, and
this is something I did not know you could do.
I mean, it is England, so I don't know what the rules would be here.
I was like, wait, depending how long they lived together, they could have been common law.
Common law, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's and she had to have like the approval of his next of kin to do it. So that's part of it also. They would have said
no.
Right. And yeah, it's Elizabeth McGovern from plays, I think, his mom. From Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
Aisling Bea, she's the lead. She's really good. You a good character that you're rooting for. Billie Lourd plays her. I can't remember if it was her sister or best friend, but like the best friend character in this kind of movie.
Yeah.
And Colin Hanks is the fiance. He's really charming. He's good. And I don't know, I just found it refreshing. I found it different. I've never seen this in a rom-com.
Yeah.
And I thought it was good. I liked it. So number 6 is All We Imagine as Light. This is a film out of India, and it follows 2 women, and they're romantic. One's married, one's not married, and their story, it's beautifully made, beautifully filmed. I don't know what is wrong with India that they didn't have this be their Oscar nomination. Like they just keep making these terrible choices. They didn't nominate RRR. They didn't nominate this. Yeah. It's bizarre. But it's Nurse Prabha's routine is troubled when she receives an unexpected gift from her estranged husband. Her younger roommate, Anu, tries in vain to find a spot in the city to be intimate with her boyfriend. A trip to the beach town allows them to find a space for their desires to manifest.
Yeah, this is a movie that I really wanted to watch, and I don't know if it's streaming. You probably can rent it somewhere.
Oh, let me see.
You probably rent it on Amazon, I'm assuming. This is definitely.
If it looks like it's streaming right now on the Criterion channel, so if people have that, but yeah, you can rent it on all the major.
Yeah, this is something I really wanted to see because the trailer looks so good.
Beautiful movie. And good performances. It's a good one. Number 5, I have Your Monster, and this was the one that I liked better than obviously it's a high ranked, but better than Lisa Frankenstein. Very similar films. Very
incredibly similar.
Yeah, and this is like sort of a Beauty and the Beast modern take on it. It can get kind of bloody. It can get kind of R-rated. But I like this better because they're together a lot more, and the banter and the chemistry I think is better than Lisa Frankenstein. But yeah, this is like it's charming. I liked both the leads. It's romantic.
I only have one knock against this movie, which I really enjoyed it as well. This was a secret movie for me. Like
Oh,
when I went to
fun.
the theaters. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun to see it. I had never heard of it before, but I'm trying not to spoil it. Did you understand everything that was going on? Did you know from the beginning that that's how it would all end?
I don't really understand the magic the of the beast and the closet, and like they don't really spend any time explaining the
Mm,
magic
because
at all.
oh well,
So that part of it, but I just kind of went with it.
but here's the whole question. I don't want to spoil it because I know the answer to this one, but I knew the gimmick of it essentially from the very beginning, and I was like, oh, this sucks. I know how this is gonna go. Um, and then the way it ended, I was like, I knew exactly this is how
Mm,
it was going to end because well, I'll tell you, I don't want to spoil it for anybody because I think everybody should go watch this movie because it is a lot of fun.
yeah. Yeah, the ending, I mean, they did kind of write themselves into a corner
Well, I mean,
unless they were going to have him become like a full functioning normal human.
well, no, I mean, how much do you? I mean, it's so funny because we could debate this movie, but if you debate it, you give away kind of some spoileries on it, and I
Yeah.
don't want to because I really want people to see this movie because it is delightful. Like,
But
oh my
yeah,
gosh,
the
that
other
boyfriend
thing
that she
about
watched
this
that
movie
movie
is
with, yeah,
that it has it's kind of almost a musical.
yes,
It
it
has a
is
bunch of
because
songs
because they
because
are. Oh,
she's an actress on the stage, and so there's a lot of singing
yeah, and her
and
ex-boyfriend, who is like the worst,
yeah, he really is
is
the
has
worst.
written this musical and is directing it, and
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
I
he is the
said a
worst.
fun little romp of a midnight movie that doesn't take itself too seriously and pays
Yeah.
homage to lots of things, obviously Beauty and the Beast, horror tropes, musicals, rom-coms, and more. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do agree that the ending, they kind of write themselves into a corner. What are they
Yeah.
going to do? But yeah,
Yeah, and I
that's
was like,
fair.
"Oh, I get this movie," but I did love, like, the Halloween dance when he just pops up.
Oh
So that
yeah,
was, like,
it's
such a
really good.
swoony moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I saw that at Sundance. That also, I saw Skywalker's also at Sundance. Number 4, and this I also saw at Sundance. Hitman. I have. What a sexy,
Mhm.
fun movie. This was more controversial than I expected. I mean, because yeah, I mean they're like bad people, but I feel like the movie isn't like they're not like supposed to be good people, you know? Like I don't know, I just don't feel like the movie is like championing what they're doing, and it's also very silly. Like it's very this is practically a screwball comedy, like the various accents and costumes and uh moments, the chemistry off the charts. This is a very sexy movie. Uh I I had a ton of fun with it. I really enjoyed it, but some people I feel like took it too seriously.
Yeah. Well,
For Hitman.
I don't know if it was because it was I don't know if it was the actual movie or if it was the source material that people took
Because it
issues with because it's based on
so
an article, no?
yeah, so there's like a real guy who was a hitman. Well, who was a for the cops, like he wasn't a real
Yeah.
hitman, but he played as hitman. But all of the like at the end it says like he didn't really kill anybody. We made that all up. Like all
Yeah.
of that is
I think I don't
ridiculous.
know. Yeah, I heard more like nitpicks of like not really of the movie itself, just like
I just heard a
of
lot of people
how
being
they
like, "Oh,
adapted it.
they're bad people. Look, they
Well, I
like
mean, we can
killed
have
people
movies
and
about
stuff."
bad people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
People love that's
I
so
didn't
funny because people love gangster movies and they're all bad in that.
yeah, to me, this was similar to like a Bang Bang, you know, like, oh, you
Yeah.
think about like a typical like screwball comedy, people are flying left and right, people are banging their heads, people are, you know, like technically, like lots of people die, right? But like it's or get seriously injured, but it's a comedy. It's not supposed to be like serious. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think people took it a little too seriously. But a lot of people did enjoy it like me and the chemistry of these two, and it is a very sexy movie. So, if you're looking for some hot Glen Powell, if you didn't get what you wanted out of Twister, like I didn't get what I wanted, then watch Hitman. uh,
Oh, that's
okay.
another debate we had, Rachel. I'm like,
Yes.
I don't need it.
I needed it. I wanted it, and I got it in Hitman.
It's like,
Um, so now we're at the final 3. Number 3, I have Molly and Max in the future. And I interviewed the director, Michael Litwack, for Hallmarkies podcast. And I saw this at South by Southwest in 2023. And I really enjoyed it. And what's amazing about this movie is that Michael and his friend, the director of photography, they basically like built all of these models and like made everything for the movie like during COVID on a nothing budget. It's kind of like Guy Friends that way, but like then they made it, and the whole thing is done with like tons of green screen, and usually that's like a bad thing, but they did it in a way that they could like create their whole world and make it very unique. It's kind of like to me it was like when Harry Met Sally meets Doctor Who is how it felt visually. Doctor Who, kind of that like, you know how Doctor Who kind of has like a sort of like 1980s cheese
classic Who
spectacle to the like special effects, and so they kind of had that. I loved the colors, and just the whole world building was so fun. It's about these, and I really like the two leads. They were great. It's about these two that in this space world, whatever, they meet, have a meet cute at the beginning, and then they keep running into each other every so often. You know, it's just like when Harry met Sally and their friendship grows. And there's some bits that go on maybe a little too long. There's certain gags that work better than others. Like at one point she's on this like dating show, and that one goes on a little too long. At one point she joins a cult, which was kind of funny. And I really enjoyed it. And it was so interesting because this movie, when it was finally released, it came out the same weekend as Madam Web.
Yes,
and which was like so crazy. And both movies, here's the irony, both movies have Zosia Mamet in the movies. And they have Zosia in Madam Web playing like the stooge of the villain. And she just like is in his apartment at a computer the whole time. It was so bizarre. But like in here, like she's so funny, she's so charming, she's so good. And you think of like what he was able to do, Michael was able to do with no money. Like barely anything. And what Sony did with $100 million, however much Madam Web costs, it's just kind of crazy, you know?
It is. It totally is.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really enjoyed this, and it was so cool. So after I saw it at South by Southwest, I really enjoyed it. And I reached out to Michael and I was like, hey, you know, when I host this rom-com podcast, would love to have you on. And so we chatted through the whole year. Every so often, you know, I'd be like, have you heard any news, you know, of the distribution? And then finally, when it did get released, basically a year later, then he did come on the pod and we talked all about it. And I think it's super cool that in 2024 and 2025 that people can still have an idea for something they think is cool and like build models from their house in COVID and make a movie like that. That's still possible. Is like what they did with Guy Friends, what they do with like that. People can still like make a movie like Flo this season. That Gintz, he just like him and his friend like made it like with nothing. They had like you know, and then they win the Oscar. Like
amazing.
It's cool.
It's what an amazing journey.
It's cool. It's very heartwarming. Number 2, I have this Icelandic film. It's called Touch. And this is a very lovely movie. It's about, this is a movie, probably the best movie I've ever seen about COVID or about the experience of those time of lockdown, because it's set in March of 2020. So, and there's a dual timeline. So there's the older man who he finds out he has, I can't remember, cancer or whatever. And so he has a certain amount of time. He decides he wants to find the woman that he fell in love with when he was in his 20s, who they met when he was working in London for her father's Japanese restaurant. And she's Japanese. And so he ends up going back to Japan when everybody's like freaking out, COVID lockdowns, you know, and so it captures all of that. And I thought that that was like really interesting because here he knows he only has so much time, but like everybody feels like they only have so much time.
Yeah.
So it was like this environment that I thought was really like a powerful thing. And then you see their relationship, the younger versions of them who are both absolutely stunning humans, both of them. Wow. And that was entertaining. Like their relationship, obviously, no, it doesn't end well. They get separated. But it was still entertaining and it's just a really good movie. Lovely when he does find her and what happens. It's very nice. And yeah, it's a good one. It's available on if you have Prime Video, it's on there.
Yeah, I
So
might check this out. This sounds good.
it's good. It's a good a lot of interesting movies coming out of Iceland lately. There was of course I can't think of all of their names, but there's just been a number of like really beautifully made they're doing interesting things in Iceland. So my number one movie romance of 2024 is a movie that unfortunately went straight streaming that was also at South by Southwest that I wish could gotten a theatrical because I would have loved to have seen it get that kind of experience and people to see it in the theater. But it's Musica. I loved this movie, and I had Rudy on Hallmark's podcast, which was like very exciting. And it's kind of fun because Rudy and Camila Mendes, they fell in love on the set. So obviously, like their chemistry is really good, and it's about this. It's semi-autobiographical about this man who has synesthesia, I think is what's called. Anyway, like he's very heightened to any, especially sound. He hears every little tick, 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 of going on. And what they do in the movie is they use that to create these like amazing musical sequences that I just thought were so cool and filmed interesting. Like Rudy directed it, and I think he did a really good job for his first film. And he is kind of an unlikable character many times. Like he has this two women that he's interested in. And so, but I know some people complained about that, but I thought it was vulnerable and real. And I just loved the imagery and the music. And like one scene, he's in a like a fish market, right? And every like slap, slap, slap of the fish like creates a beat. And then you've got like somebody mopping and a bang bang, of the mop and whatever. It all builds together. And I just thought it was so exciting. And I thought the romance was charming. And I just loved it. It was one of my favorite movies of the year of 2024. And definitely underseen. Yeah, you should check it out. And his real mom plays his mom in the movie, which is fun.
It's because Amazon picked it up and they submitted it to the Emmys. It was nominated for Best TV Movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was nominated for Best TV Movie, which is weird because of what Amazon considers like a feature film and a TV movie. So, yeah. But it did get some Emmy love.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, like Slasher Reviews, he says Tick Tick Boom meets La La Land, and I think that is true. That's a good way to describe it. Great music. Brian Sudfield says, music to my ears. Rudy Mancuso brings his story to life with so much charm and heart, blending it with outstanding stylistic choices, wonderful banter between him and the always lovely Camila Mendes. As a New Jerseyan, this definitely hit home. So you guys see it, Terry.
Oh, I know. It's on my.
The whole thing is set in New Jersey.
It's on my watch list. I actually think I know where they filmed it too.
So Sethi says, "What a pleasant surprise." Let's see here. Any other?
I'm just looking at the filming locations. They filmed where I used to live. Yeah.
Creativity at its peak. I said, my review at the time, I said, my kind of burst of creative energy film. I loved everything about it. It even has a puppet musical number. Yeah, it does have like a puppet. It's very creative. Like it goes on to animate, like sort of uses some like animation. It uses some, like it's very, very, very creative.
It's mostly in English, right, Rachel?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it's also like it's a love letter to Brazil and Brazilian music and
Yeah.
culture, and so there's some like Portuguese and things like that. Um, uh, Cinemarga says it was honestly so fun. I had a great time, very charming. Uh,
I know this. I have to get because you keep telling me to watch it, and it's like I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it.
yeah. Tony Estrada says Musica is already a contender for the best edited movie of the year, which I would really agree with, like especially those musical numbers. Like I was
Yeah.
telling you about the fish market scene. Very, very creative. This should have gotten this theatrical treatment. Absolutely, it should have. So that's my number one. We did it. Oh my gosh. would
Rachel
you
survived.
would you say that Lisa Frankenstein was your favorite of all of these we talked
Oh,
about?
I guess so. I did really like Your Monster too. I don't really have a truly favorite, and I love Divided too. I don't know if I would consider them all of my favorite, but I think one that I would rewatch again would probably be Lisa Frankenstein because which surprises me so much. But I just thought it was like bonkers enough in how they played with the nostalgia of the
Yeah,
80s and stuff like
I
that.
can see
And
that.
I don't know. I think, yeah, Lisa Frankenstein and Your Monster were definitely really fun ones.
Yeah. I'd love for people to search out and find some of these movies that are a little bit smaller, Molly and Max, which I think is on Tubi. Yeah, it's on Tubi or Hoopla. So you can watch it for free. Touch. Where's Touch at? Yeah, Prime. Video and Mrs. Where's that at? That's on Tubi, so you can watch that for free. So a lot of these are available to watch. So I'd love for people to check them out and let me know what you think of them. Love Divided, that's on Netflix. Check that out. I would love to hear like what you think and some of these like more underground ones. Guy Friends, that's on Tubi and Hoopla. So let me know if you get a chance to see them, what you think. Let's see where Humanist Vampire is available all over the place.
I gotta
AMC,
watch that
Movie,
one.
Filio, Shutter, so all over. So you can find these movies, and I would be curious what you think of some of the more obscure ones, and what you think of my ranking. Are you outraged? Put in the comments, and please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. If I'm going to put this up on the podcast, and so if you are, and I'll put it, I think, on Hallmarkies as well. So if you could leave your ratings and reviews, and make sure you check out Hallmarkies podcasts. I do. Terry's so kind. We do rankings almost every week, and that's so fun. So definitely check out over there and check out the Patreon group. It's the biggest way you can support everything I'm doing. And we have our monthly guests who do watch-alongs and Q&As. It's super fun. I already have April and May planned, and they're going to be really good. So you definitely want to check that out. And the merch store, we got tons of fun designs, a lot of romantic themed designs. Check that out. And thanks so much, Terry, for doing this. This was a lot more fun
inviting me, Rachel.
than if
I'm sorry, everyone, if I was boring.
No, this was a lot more fun for me. I really appreciate it. And so thank you for chatting. And so if people want to follow you, how do they do that?
Oh, I'm on Twitter, Flurry Heaven.
Great. And you find me Rachel's Reviews all over the place, and make sure you check out Hallmarkies podcast as well. And there we go. We did it. Yay to 2024. And like I said, I have interviews with tons of the people we talked about. Musica, Molly and Max, Which Brings Me to You, Girl Haunts Boy, Hot Frosty, the Guy Friends. So a lot of these people that I've talked to. So check that out as well. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.